wolf chart, you know, primarily we're looking at the WTMA as an early entry mechanism for our confirmation system. And we're looking at these diagonal lines here, these trend lines, as momentum entries to show us when we're going to get continuation. And we're using this 12 cloud, which is the blue and red cloud, and then this yellow and red cloud, which is the 200, so that we can see the trend as it's shifting and changing within the chart. So we lean on those as our foundational pillars to the wolf chart system, because when you're trading different styles of trading, whether you're doing leaps, whether you're doing swing trades, whether you're scalping, with this baseline right here that you see right in front of you, with just these, we're covering very fast trades, whether you're on the 5 minute, 3 minute, 30-second chart. You can scalp using the WTMA and seeing where your order blocks are and things like that. And then the 12 cloud takes care of our short term trend, which is because it's only looking at 12 candles. That's why it's the 12 cloud, because it's looking at 12 candles, the 12 previous candles to dictate what the short term trend is. And then this 200 cloud, which is the one that flips between red and yellows, shows us if the stock is in a bullish trend or a bearish trend. So just from looking at SoFi right here, we can see that when we're under the 12 cloud, so when this cloud is red and stock candles are holding under it, the stock is in a bearish trend. So what does that mean? That means that you have a higher probability of making monies buying puts, or if you're buying shares, if you're using the wolf chart and so you're only buying shares of the wolf chart, that's just letting you know that that stock is in position to pull back down to support. If you're not playing any puts, but when this 200 cloud is red, especially when it's like on a 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day, 1 week, the stock is in a bear trend. And so we see that. Let's go look at Meta for a second. And I just want to get you all familiar with um, what shows us the trend right off the bat. So for a while, people were buying calls on Meta. Um, and we were trying to time the bottom on Meta and things like that. Coach had this level right here marked out between 595 and 580, which was the level where I said, okay, this is where I buy my shares at, where I get in my long dated contracts on Meta down in this range. Because it has so much higher time frame concentration here, I felt comfortable playing Meta if it came down into this range right here. However, you can kind of see, like, I think with Chuvy, he's been rinsing and repeating Meta, buying calls and buying puts. But just look at it stuck inside of this range. We can see the chop area that Meta is in. So every time Meta tries to break out, it kind of comes back down. But now it's finally reclaimed the 200 cloud on the 1 hour time frame, right? So down here, when Meta lost the 200, you see how Meta's just been in that downtrend because overall the stock is bearish on the 1 hour. But the thing that made it extremely bearish is that when you go to the daily time frame, this is why it got extremely bearish. So it lost it after earnings. It dropped and gapped down, but it gapped down and it opened and closed a full bearish candle under that 200. Prior to that, when it was above the 200 and it was yellow, it's constantly in this uptrend. Even on these pullbacks, this is a buy the dip type of moment for Meta, right? Because it's pulling back, it's retesting the short term trend, which is our 200 cloud, this blue cloud. It's just pulling back, retesting, and pulling back for a second. It's in the uptrend. But you see how once this 12 cloud is red and the 200 clouds, but they both red at the same time, that's extremely bearish for a stock, right? So if you really pay attention to what's happening and how these moving averages work together, we have the WTMA because this gives us an advantage that other traders don't have in the fact that it lets us see exactly when they're moving money into Meta, right? So when everybody was bearish on Meta, you see how these candles start creeping. Like these, it's extremely bearish right here, right? But when these candles start getting to the inside of the WTMA, that means that they're slowly trying to move money. And then we got this crossover down here. So we got a lock candle. That means that a candle open and closed above this lime green wolf trend moving average line. This is our fastest moving average. And it crossed over while it was above this green line. That was the first signal to let us know that they were moving real money in real time into Meta. Okay. And so you see after it did that, then it got above the 200. I mean above the 12, which is our short term trend. And now, even though it's pushed up and it's did some, some nice things and price action, it didn't shot down, it didn't shot up from 600 and touched 700 and things like that. I didn't even witness this wick, but it's on the charts. I didn't see it pop all the way to 709. But anyway, it has this wick on the chart. I didn't witness it doing that. But anyway, once we got above the fastest moving average, then we see that we then got above our second fastest moving average, which is our 12 cloud. And now ultimately it's trying to get over what the 200 cloud. Anytime a stock gets under the 200, it's trying its best to get back above the 200 to get back into a bullish trend. And so right now, what we're waiting on, how do we know when Meta is really going to be in a sustained move higher? We'll see this 12 cloud get back above this red cloud. And you'll see this red cloud, this 200 cloud, turn yellow. And then we'll know, you'll see the same thing that happened here. You'll see it's bearish. We got back above the WTMA first. Then we got above the 12 cloud second. And then we were trying to get above the 200, trying to get above the 200. And then this blue cloud is going to cross over this this red cloud. And you want to see this kind of stay blue, this flip to yellow. And then you know that Meta is ready to try to do its thing and push up in a sustainable way, right? And so when you pay attention to how the chart is layered, it's layered in phases of how smart money enters into a trade. They're buying their heavy position here. They're going to add here. Then once we get above the 200, they're going to add again. It's going to keep on getting into this buy the dip uptrend situation. So with the wolf chart, we're using these confirmations in like a phase based layer. So in phase zero, right? We're looking for the liquidity part of it to line up and make sense. So the WTMA is not just a moving average. You can look at it as more so of a liquidity engine. And so when we talk about this word liquidity, everybody throwing around, it's just where pools of money are sitting at. And so institutions, we look at price action as retail traders, but institutions, they push price toward liquidity. And the reason why they do that is the reason why even my coach said, okay, this is a high interest area for to get inside of Meta. If you're just going to wait on time to buy the dip, between this range is going to be, where they're going to buy in at. The reason why I could see that ahead of time, even before the WTMA got down here, is the volume profile that we use. This volume profile, it where these areas stick out, that shows us where high concentrated volume is, where price is. So sometimes you'll see volume at the bottom of your chart. Okay. So at the bottom of your chart, you will see volume, right? Just it looks just like this, right? So let's put some volume on the chart. It's on regular volume. Okay, so now we all used to seeing this volume, right? These red candles and green candles at the bottom of the chart. What you want to understand about this volume is right under this volume, what do you see? You see dates, right? You see this date for this bar is this volume happened on uh December 19th, right? And this volume bar happened on December 18th. And so it's telling you, even if you go down to the lower time frames, what day, what time did volume come in overall in the stock? And what type of volume was it? Was it bearish volume? Was it bullish volume? So this volume down here gives you the time. This is when volume came in on this day. Okay. So they're just telling you that volume was there on this day in this time. Over here, what's behind this? Price. So why is the VRVP so potent and important? Because the VRP shows you not when volume came in, but at what price did they come in with volume? At what price were they buying heavy? Where is the liquidity sitting at, and where is no liquidity at? So where is it? Where parts of the chart can a stock just explode up or drop down really fast? So when we use the VRVP, what I found out from trading is that I could leverage this volume at price. Because when I go to my weekly chart, let's go to the weekly chart on Meta. You see, we have an order block down here, but why did Coach know that Meta was gonna come down here, grab liquidity? If it was gonna grab liquidity after dropping like this, look at this whole volume profile on Meta. Let me zoom all the way out so you can see this volume profile. So it has a lot of. I knew it wouldn't come down here, right? So when I went back and looked, even back to 2023, this was going to be a level and an order block. It was going to be very difficult for Meta to just get pushed through. And I also had to put my mindset in the mind of an institutional investor. Where are they going to come in at? And so we got an order block here that's telling us that this is where they're going to defend at. We have the VRVP sitting here showing us this is where they're going to defend at. And then we have our liquidity engine. We have the WTMA that has arc twice, a bearish arc and then a bullish arc that took us up from what's this 588 in price all the way up to $740. So with all that confluence right there, that's why I had these numbers being here way before Meta ever got down to 591 and in this area. And so we can see using that VRVP, our order blocks, our WTMA, where the liquidity was, but we can also see using the wolf chart, right? We can also see something else very important that you hear this term thrown out a lot. We have an A plus trade coming up. This trade is in an A plus trade setup. And when you hear that, when coach said, I'm not saying it because, saying of well, I'm saying it because of a few things. When I see an A plus trade, now this trade right here is in an A plus trade range, but it has the 200 cloud blocking it from just taking it. Now it popped through here. I didn't catch, like I said, I didn't catch this candle, but it popped through here once before. But you see how there's all we call these imps. So each one of these little lines that you see how we had this blue volume and then we got this black volume, but all these little bars that I'm touching, these little volume bars right here, these are called nodes.